When they're not recording trivial matters like who can attach the most pegs to their face, the Guinness Book of World Records is getting into the real stuff like who the best Fall Guys player is or which game renders the most enemies on screen. From games that made incredible impacts to players that did the unthinkable, the ability to set a world record is yours if you can dream it up and make it happen. If you're feeling particularly competitive, there's plenty of gaming world records out there that you can try your hand at, whether you're a player with a score to settle or in fact a video game developer yourself and want to create something that lasts forever. This list, however, will feature none of them. These records are the kind of things that will remain etched into Guinness's stone tablets for decades to come. I'm Cy for WhatCulture.com, and these are 10 video game world records that will never be broken. Number 10. Just Dance 2015 138-hour marathon. There are world records for all kinds of gaming marathons, but there's one that far exceeds all others. Not content with just quite simply the longest single session of any game ever recorded, the game of choice is something to behold itself. You'd think it would be something like Call of Duty, one of the most successful game franchises ever, and you would have been right for a while. A 135-hour session of Black Ops 2 was finally bested in 2015 by Carrie Swidecki, as she quite literally danced the night away with Just Dance 2015, and then danced the whole next day, and then the whole next night. You get it. 135 hours and 35 minutes translates to over 5.5 days of constant play, so unsurprisingly, the rhythm game enthusiast not only broke records and also raised money for charity, but lost over £70. It's hard enough to play any game for that amount of time, let alone one that requires you to move so much. Swidecki was recognised for her record by Ubisoft, who gave her an appearance in the 2018 version of the title. We've all played what we thought were marathon sessions, but compared to this, we were merely out for a quick stroll. Number 9. Super Mario 64 Speedrun Star. Speedrunning has become a popular pastime in the gaming community over the years, gaining traction through viral hit videos as well as charity streams hosted by the likes of Games Done Quick. Truly, any game can be speedrun if you're passionate enough, and many gamers have tried their hands at all their favourite titles. Quite obviously, it would have been very easy and cheap to fill this list with just great speedruns, but did you know the fastest total completion of Super Mario 64, performed by a gamer named Cheese, is an incredible 1 hour and 37 minutes. Players have worked so hard on figuring out helpful glitches within the title that the fastest run from title to credit is a mere 6 minutes long, but actually going out there and grabbing every power star in less than 2 hours is incredibly impressive. Super Mario 64 is an important game in the speedrunning community, it seems, because it actually has one more very unique award. It's rather telling overall the impact that this Nintendo 64 launch title has had on the childhoods of many, as it currently holds the record for the most number of speedrun attempts recorded. The collective achievement of Mario fans was approved in 2020, and today the number grows with an excess of 36,000 recorded speedruns. Number 8. Lil Poison, the youngest professional video gamer. A lot of us may have very warm and nostalgic memories of gaming in our childhood. That first taste of electronic entertainment, our first console, our first game, and the first time we beat it. The feeling of accomplishment, like you could do anything. And of course, the realization that we all had to get real jobs and couldn't just play video games for a living. Victor de Leon III, aka Lil Poison, will look back on his childhood a little differently compared to your average gamer. Picking up a controller at just age 2 to play NBA 2K for Dreamcast kicked off an incredible story for little Victor. Just a few years later, the 4-year-old gamer had competed in his first Halo tournament and placed in the top 3 against local teenagers, which was pretty damn impressive. Major League Gaming thought so anyway, and went on to sign the young de Leon as the youngest professional gamer at the age of 6. The next year, Lil Poison placed second in a tournament that, at the time, was the largest free-for-all Halo event in the world, with only his mentor and uncle surpassing him for the gold, proving that gaming was in the de Leon blood. Number 7. Star Citizen, the most successful video game Kickstarter. We live in an era of crowdsourcing, and generally speaking, it can be truly wonderful. Getting around the usual process of trying to sell a huge heartless publisher on your unknown idea can now be a thing of the past due to online hype and accruing a guaranteed audience. Many great games only exist because of platforms like Kickstarter, and we should be thankful. Cloud Imperium Games' Star Citizen is infamous when it comes to crowdsourced titles. Its 2012 campaign smashed Kickstarter records. Not only was it the most successful video game project, it remains to this day the most successful project that isn't related to the online blockchain at a whopping $2 million. So, what's about the quality of the game? No idea, it never came out. Well, parts of it did, specifically referred to as modules that give an insight into different aspects of what will be in the final product that, despite being in production for over 10 years, still has no planned release date. The protracted development time has caused no end of issues for Cloud Imperium, including many backers demanding refunds and even legal battles with Crytek over the use of the Cry engine. All this aside, whilst its $2 million crowdfunding number is record-breaking in itself, the game continues to be supported by its audience, whom, by the end of 2021, had collectively put a shocking $400 million into the still unreleased project. Number 6. Super Smash Bros. Tournament Streak. Most people would describe Nintendo's All-Star Brawler as a party fighter, and there's plenty of fun to be had in its abject mania, but a lot of people also take it seriously. Professional level Smash Bros. Play has a long and winding history. Gonzalo Zero Barrios very quickly became the master of the Wii U installment of the game in the first 12 months of its release, and went on a hot streak that captivated the Smash Bros. Community. How does 56 consecutive tournament victories strike you? If you were part of the competitive Smash scene, it didn't take long before you could predict who is winning every tournament that year. As always, the devil is in the details here, and it helps to know that Smash Bros. Tournaments typically mean two players going up against each other in multiple rounds. This meant that generally Zero could afford a loss here and there as long as he bested his opponents in the end. That being said, as part of this unthinkable winning streak, Zero did something remarkable at the EVO Championship in 2015 by never losing a single round. A record-setting attendance for the game of 1,926 entrants, and Zero blitzed through the competition without a single mistake. The tournament winning streak reigned from September 2015 to October 2016 and will never be replicated. Number 5. Sony PlayStation 2, the best-selling console of all time. With every year that passes, gaming gets bigger and bigger. It has gone, in the last few decades, from being an underground hobby that people derided to a huge billion-dollar-making industry. So you'd think that means everything would have shot up in sales. How come the Sony PlayStation 2, over 20 years later, is still the best-selling console? The PS4 and Nintendo Switch are hot on the sales tail, but interest is so broadly separated between the current 3 hardware suppliers, not to mention the rise of PC gaming, that anyone will struggle to match the PS2. It's all about context. Nintendo's GameCube was seen as too kiddie during the era of games like Grand Theft Auto. Sega's overzealousness was sealing the Dreamcast's fate before they got started. The Xbox was a newcomer to the market and an unknown quantity. Within the 6th generation of consoles, the PlayStation 2 was the most surefire success. Coming off the back of the PS1, people believed in the Sony brand. It included the exciting new technology that was DVD playback, and was not only reasonably priced but actually cheaper than a standalone DVD player. The PS2 launched at just the right time to become the best-selling console ever, and it may well get the privilege of keeping that title forever. Number 4. Scarface, The World Is Yours, the most F-bombs. Gaming is for everyone, not just kids. In fact, some of the industry's most popular titles are specifically targeted at adults, with mature themes, violence and gore, and of course, strong language. But which game drops the most F-bombs? In 2010, Mafia 2 was notable for taking the crown of filthiest language, and its script, laden with over 200 uses of the mother of all swear words, was gaming news. After all, House of the Dead Overkill had only set the record itself just 1 year prior. It seemed as though it was anyone's game, and eventually a new Grand Theft Auto or something was going to come along and swoop in next. However, somehow we had all overlooked 2006's Scarface, The World Is Yours. With all this talk of the most F-bombs in a game, someone submitted this title, and it turned out that it had been the winner all along. Whilst the film that it acts as a sequel to isn't lacking in colourful language, Tony Montana's Return from the Dead clocks a hefty 5,688 uses of everyone's favourite 4-letter word. For clarity, the game takes on average 16 hours to beat, so that's roughly 1 F-bomb every 10 seconds. Probably best to play this one after your parents go to sleep then. Number 3. Mega Man X, the synchronized speedrun. It doesn't matter what game you think you're good at, there will always be someone better. That is, unless of course you're YouTube gamer Agwawaf, who has a pretty good shot at being the best Mega Man X player of all time. I'm not talking about a specific entry, I'm talking about the franchise. It's one thing to speedrun a game, how about 3 games at once? The Mega Man titles are pretty much known for their difficulty, so it takes real practice to get good at any of them enough to memorize every movement and become a fluid speedrunning machine. 2017. This gamer went one better and not only learned how to play Mega Man X and its first two sequels flawlessly, but to do so all at the same time mapped to the same controller. Any movement Agwawaf makes impacts all three games, which makes for some pretty incredible viewing. In one game he might be cruising through a stage avoiding pitfalls, and in the other two overpowering two different tough-as-nails boss fights at once. 43 minutes and 51 seconds might not be the best record for any of these games individually, but it's pretty impressive as a combined time. This is a record that will almost certainly never be beaten, because who on earth has the time and willpower to learn such a strange but brilliant thing? Number 2. Mad Lab Zaragoza, the biggest arcade cabinet. When it comes to gaming records, there's plenty to talk about regarding feats of ability and innate skill, but there's also way more to the hobby than getting good. At least that's what my friends reassure me when I can't get past the first hour of Bloodborne. Some people have done crazy things or invested tons of money to show their love for video games. We've all marvelled at photos and videos of some really impressive collections that some fans have put together, but there's a world of difference between collecting video game memorabilia and making your own. Mad Lab Zaragoza, an entertainment venue in Spain, houses the biggest arcade cabinet ever made. Requiring a literal staircase to get to the controls, the gargantuan games console stands at over 16 feet tall and is nearly 7 feet wide. But how do you play this gigantic game of Tetris? By inserting a gigantic arcade coin that you can purchase from the reception desk. Of course. This record seems highly impractical, but a marvel nonetheless. A pure example of doing something just because you can. The fact that gamers can share in the joy of this huge arcade cabinet is what makes it even better. Number 1. Minecraft, the best-selling game of all time. For a long time, Tetris topped the list on this one, which in many ways made sense. The mobile version was easily accessible to all and was a game that just about anybody could pick up, play and get addicted to. Even despite the huge titans of the industry like Mario and Pokemon, the block puzzler reigned supreme for a very long time. And then a little game called Minecraft came along. It's not like Minecraft blew Tetris instantly out of the water either. It was a slow but sustained rise to the top. Released in 2009, Minecraft didn't take the crown until 2019, but at this point it's so far beyond any other sales record that it couldn't possibly be beaten. Currently standing at 238 million sales, it eclipses even the second place of Grand Theft Auto 5's 165 million. It's not hard to see why either. Minecraft was and is very inviting to new players, no matter what their previous experience or skill level. Easy to play, hard to master, and with a depth that goes as far as your imagination does. As the years have gone by, the game has only gotten bigger and better, with constant updates, and with both survival and creative offering completely different experiences, Minecraft really offers a wealth of options. And that's the list. Let us know what you thought of this video down in the comments below, and any other startling video game world records that you know of that you believe will never ever be broken. Make sure you like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe and hit that notification bell. I've been Cy for WhatCulture, and have a good week.